Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be doing a review of the Oracle of the Mermaids card deck by Lucy Cavendish, and the front of the box looks like this. The box is a hard cardboard box, so it is protective of your cards, but the box is bigger than the cards, so they will move around in there, and if that bothers you, then I just told you, so it's good to know. The card deck itself is very pretty and colorful. The edges aren't gilded, the corners are rounded, so it's not going to stab you. The pictures are really colorful, and obviously all of them are of mermaids. The pictures themselves are really pretty. It's definitely more of a beauty deck sort of deck. It doesn't have just classic or simple pictures. They're very complex, very pretty and detailed, but you do have to take into consideration that these were pictures. Most of them were pictures before they were made into cards, so that's why they are so detailed. A lot of people who just do the artwork for the cards to begin with don't do as much detail just because of that. But it is a very nice deck anyways, and they do have little descriptions, very short ones, of what the card means in general at the bottom under the name of the card. The cards measure 2/16 over 3.5 inches across and 1/16 under 5.5 inches tall. So they are a bigger deck. If you have smaller hands, this deck may be hard to handle because of that. This is a 45 card deck, so it is on the smaller size deck-wise, but it is larger cards, so just take that in mind. The guidebook is a paperback, and it is the size of the box, so it is a little bit bigger than the cards. The cover is glossy, just like the cards and the box, and it has the same illustration on the front of the box on the guidebook. The guidebook does have the introduction to the card deck, and it talks about mermaid history, the healing powers of mermaids and merfolk. It talks about mermaids and sensuality, not sexuality. And it talks about the symbols of mermaids, which is actually kind of helpful. It talks about what a comb would mean, what her hair means, what a mirror would mean, cups, tails, shells. It talks about that in detail and tells you what those symbols mean. If you see them on the card, like let's say you're doing a card reading, you notice a comb on the card and you want to know what that means, you can look in the book. It talks about different kinds of mermaids. There's, silkies and merrows and Morgans? I don't know. But it talks about different kinds of mermaids if you want to know about that, and why it's important to connect with water, and mermaids and moon cycles, and it talks really in depth on even how to connect with the mermaids, which is actually pretty cool. So it does go into a lot of detail, which is really nice if you're really into that. If you're not, just bypass that part in the book. It does have a few spreads in here for cards if you're interested in that as well. Some card decks don't have that, so that's a good thing to take a note if you're interested in that. As far as the descriptions of the cards go, they are not listed, the cards themselves are not listed in alphabetical order in the book. They are listed by the number that is actually on the top center of the card. So whatever this number is, that's going to be the number that you're going to look for next to the card in the book. So like 4, you would want to look for 4, but it's not going to be on the 4th page of the book, which can be annoying for some people, but I've actually found that it's actually easy to find a card if you're paying attention to the numbers in the book, but you just can't look at the page numbers because that will screw you up. The descriptions of the card obviously have a picture of the card and the card name, and then a short description of what the card means, and then it has the mermaids sing, which I am not a huge fan of this, but that's personal preference. This is kind of a description of the picture itself and the story behind it, because the artist did make a lot of these pictures before she made them into cards. So they do all have stories behind the pictures and what inspired her to make this photo or painting. And then they have the reverse meanings, which I am super a fan of because I don't have any other decks like this that have reverse meanings. I know a couple decks out there have them, but I didn't have one, so it's really nice for me to have that because it's just easier to tell what the reverse meaning of a card would be if they just tell you right away. And then they have the divination, which is just the general description of what the card means. Overall, I really like this card deck. I think it's a great addition to my collection, and I don't know, I really like it, and I think it's a good addition for those who really like mermaids. I am a mermaid, so it definitely fits into my lifestyle. Overall, I think this is a great deck, and I think everybody should probably have this in their collection, especially if they really like picturesque card decks rather than just a card deck purely for divination. If you just want to browse through this and look at the pictures, then you can, because they are beautiful. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I will list below other card decks that I have reviewed because I'm reviewing all of my card decks, but I will put a link to the playlist down below, and I will also put a link to this card deck on Amazon if you're interested in buying it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.